Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another layout process video, and I'm going to be scrapbooking this picture of these lemons and some lemon muffins that I made. And so I went directly to the Maggie Holmes Flourish collection because she's got that beautiful lemon paper, and then I'm taking a piece from the Polka Dot Party, which I think is a Dear Lizzie. It's an old Dear Lizzie collection. I'm going to use that for my background paper and then fussy cut these beautiful lemons out of the Maggie Holmes. And we have a little lemon tree in our greenhouse, and it's just a young tree, and it's finally really started to put on lemons. This year it just put on quite a few. So I've been using them in a lot of different recipes, and I found this recipe for lemon muffins. So I actually used our own flour that we grew on the farm and the lemons, and this was the first time I'd ever made lemon muffins, and they turned out really good. So that was fun. And so I wanted to document that. And it's been a while since I've done a layout, as you guys can tell, not because I didn't want to, but because my printer is just kind of crappy, my work printer, but it's good enough for, for work items. So I haven't wanted to put the money into fixing it. And so I just didn't have a way to print any good photos to scrapbook. So I haven't been scrapbooking. And I did have a really old, one of the first Canon selfies that came out, and I had some of the paper and ink left, but it had stopped working and about 5 years ago, and I'd never really put the time into trying to fix or figure out what was going on with it. So long story short, the difference in my phone photos or my new phone versus this really old Canon selfie, they just weren't compatible. But if I pulled my photos over into Photoshop, reformatted them, made them smaller, and put them on a flash drive, then my old Canon selfie was able to actually print them. So I was really excited to be able to get some nice quality pictures to actually scrapbook. You kind of got to have some photos to scrapbook. Not all the time, but most of the time you want to scrapbook your photos. So that was the only thing that had been holding me back. So now I have got a way to print my photos again. So I'm really excited about that. So I don't really have an idea for my design, except that I want to use these beautiful fussy cut lemons here. And I'm going to do it in two different clusters, one in the upper right corner and one in the bottom left. So I'm kind of liking that. And that paper, you can't really see it here, but it does have some like yellow splatters that are already pre-printed on that background paper. So it really goes well with these lemons. And then the border is the hot pink, which kind of picks up on those pink lemon blossoms. So I'm just going to glue some of this down, and I do put a little bit of foam underneath some of those lemons to hold them up. And I'm just kind of putting something heavy on there to get until the glue on the foam dries. So I got my die cuts, and I also got this old McGill punch, and I used that pink paper is also out of the Maggie Holmes Flourish collection. So I'm just punching a bunch of, I looked for things that had flowers that had 5 petals, like the flowers on the Maggie Holmes paper. It's just to put a little extra dimension into my lemon clusters there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue up a couple layers of flowers, like 3 flowers on top of each other, and then curl up the edges on those petals a little bit, just to give that extra texture. So there I've got them glued, and I'm just looking to see how many of them I want in each of my clusters. I think I wind up putting about 3 in each. And that just brings a little bit more of that pink in there, a little bit more texture, and it just kind of fills those clusters out a little more. And I do have a few new products that I bought along the way. I found these Flourish chipboard pieces, and I thought about using the lemon piece that goes with that, but it just goes to show when you fussy cut something out, the fussy cutting really works well to fill out your layout. You don't need a lot of extra stuff. You can get a lot of your embellishments just from the paper pad itself. But I do find a couple chipboard hearts, actually 3 of them, a dark pink, a light pink, and a yellow heart that I want to use. I have the puffy sticker also has that lemon branch, but it's a slightly different color, so I didn't want to use that. I figured I'd save that for a different cooking recipe. And so I have these enamel dots that I also had gotten at Tuesday morning. I at first think I'm going to do them all with the hot pink center, but then that was just a little bit too bright. I look at the yellow and that was too bright, so I go with just the soft pink on two of them and a hot pink on one. And I've just been buying things at Tuesday morning here and there. I really haven't picked up much. I usually try to, only spend $10 or $20 if I go into Tuesday morning and just get, 2 or 3 things. And keeping it light, just buying some of the more trendy things that you can't find otherwise. So, and just kind of adding to my stash here and there. So I don't have a lot of new product, but what I have been purchasing, I haven't been able to scrapbook with until now. So it's fun to dig into all these new things. I'm looking for a journaling spot and going through some of these sticker books. I do find this tab that has a little bit of gold there on the bottom. And then I find this little clipboard and it has lines on it, a little yellow border, and then it also has a little bit of gold on it. So I kind of slide that behind the photo and I'm going to use that to do my journaling on. I'm just looking to see what else is in here. I want to do a bunch of word phrases, so I'm looking to see if these phrases will work for me. And I wasn't too sure about those, so I look in the Maggie Holmes sticker book, but this is I think the Gather, and it has a couple collections, but it doesn't have the Flourish collection in it. But a lot of her stuff coordinates, so I was able to find some different word phrases. They are not all the same. Some of them are white with black text and some of them have pink text on them, but I go ahead and I find a phrase and I put it near each of those chipboard hearts. So I decide to move that heart up by that tab, and so I think I move my little phrase strip up to that cluster as well, because I keep each phrase next to one of the chipboard hearts. So I'm liking that. And then I wasn't sure on this what I was going to use for a title, and I go through a whole bunch of my thickers and I can't find either the right font or the right color or the right size, and I guess I was just really indecisive because it's been a while, since I scrapbooked. So this was a little bit longer of a process for me than I would normally take. So you can see I had looked through all those, and then I decided to just use this phrase out of the sticker book here as kind of just a small little title. And then I used that tab just to put the month and year that I made these. It was in January of this year. So now I'm just journaling kind of what I said, that, I've been using these lemons for all kinds of things. And it's just so nice in the doldrums of winter when it's rainy and cold. You can walk out and go into the greenhouse and there's things growing and fruiting. And we put a cover crop of crimson clover in our greenhouse just to help the soil. So there's some clover blooming out there, and it's just really nice to spend time out in the greenhouse during the winter if you've got the winter blues. And that foam that craft foam was just not sticking to that picture, so I just put a little bit of extra sticky tape under there. And then I had this one extra flower that I had assembled and not used, so I decided to just go ahead and stick that on the layout as well. That way it gives me 3 flowers on the bottom and then 3 of those dimensional flowers on the top. And then that does it for this layout. And here is a close-up of everything. And thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, like I said, I know it's been a long time since I've been on here, but I really, really enjoyed doing this layout. And now that I have a way to print again, I am back in business. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.